As a newcomer in Canada, I never understood the hype about buying tomatoes in bulk before winter until my first Canadian winter hit and prices skyrocketed, which is why this year I decided to stock up. I took the bull by the horn. So usually towards the end of summer, the prices of fresh produce like shepherd pepper, bell peppers, tomatoes actually reduces drastically, and sellers start selling them because farmers produce a lot of them. They just want to clear out the farm. They don't want them to get bad, and people start buying them to stock up for winter because during winter these produces are always very expensive. Wait, did I just say produces? Produce, big no. You know when they say if you come to Canada, always ask questions. Always ask questions, because asking questions actually helped me. So before I traveled to Ottawa, a lot of people were talking about buying tomatoes in bulk. Some people were even sharing location, and I got to buy some. See, if you're not in Canada, this thing that I'm talking about may be sounding like film trick, but it's actually true. Like, the hustle is real. For me especially, I was looking for the shepherd peppers because this is what I really used to cook my stew, to give it that bright red color. If my stew is not bright red, I don't like it makes me feel like I have done a bad job. So long story cut short, I actually asked the particular lady about where she buys tomatoes, because there was this post on the group and she was like, oh, I buy mine in bulk somewhere in the farm. I'm like, farm care? Which farm? And she told me the price. They were like $8 per bushel. That's like way bigger than the 25 lbs of the box of tomato. And I'm like, I am going to that farm. She even told me that this is what she does every year. She goes to the farm to pick these tomatoes herself. Like, if you pick yourself, the prices are cheaper, but if they pick for you, the prices are higher. Not only was I excited to go to the Canadian farm for the very first time, but I was super excited because we're going to be having a bulk of tomatoes. After we got all the information that we needed, we decided to go to the farm to buy. Honestly, coming from my city, it was bright, the sun was shining, but when we started getting into this city, the weather was really cloudy. The drive from my place to the farm was about 1 hour 45 minutes or so. I can't really remember exactly how long it was, but it was not so long. The truth is, when you're driving here in Canada, one hour looks like 7 years. Like, it's really long. My ego yibo just sleeping gingerly and enjoying the ride while we were driving. Because it was cloudy, I was hoping there would be no rain, and just like that, the sun started to shine. I was really excited that the sun was shining, because who would like to go to a farm when it is raining? Absolutely no one, because it's going to be really messy. We finally arrived at the city where the farm is located in, and I was really excited. So the drive here down to that place was about another 30 minutes or thereabouts. From the surroundings, I could tell like this is like a farm city. It's a countryside. You can see that there are cattle grazing, there are horses, farmlands. There were other farms apart from the farm that we were going to. The city looked really peaceful and very quiet as compared to my own city, which is a little bit busy. One thing my sweet girl loved about this city was she could see animals like the horses, the cows, every kind of animals, although she also sees squirrel at home. Oh my, I can't believe I forgot to introduce myself. Please, if you're seeing my video for the first time, my name is Isabella Odo. I'm a mom to a very beautiful girl currently living in Canada. This channel is basically about mom life especially in Canada, all the things that I do as a mom, how I navigate my life here in Canada, benefits I get to enjoy as a temporary resident currently living in Canada, food recipes, informative videos, travels, and adventurous places you can take your toddler to, share lifestyle videos, and also informative videos, very informative videos. If you think of me, think of information. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I post another video. Thank you guys for all the love that you show me. Thank you for watching this video. And again, do not forget to subscribe so you'll be a part of my YouTube family. After all the excitement of visiting the farm on a sunny day, before I knew what was happening, it started to rain. And then we got to the farm and I got so excited. The farm was actually giving farm vibes, very green, very beautiful. There were other people here, not just me. In fact, when I looked into the other side of the farm, there were people picking other items like cucumbers, cabbage, and lots of other things that the people sell. I agree that I came very late during this season, but these Conquer farms had like everything anybody could need. They also had like this small setup here where you could buy things if you want to buy, and their prices. The scotch bonnet was really beautiful. I did not pick from the farm. I just decided to buy from them here because it was really beautiful. So the thing is, when you come here, you tell them you want to buy tomato or pepper or anything. They will ask you if you want to pick or you want to buy from the little markets there. And if you say you want to pick, they'll give you these bushel baskets and you just have to go. They'll direct you and you go and do the picking. Now, the bad news on my part was that we went really late, like late in the season. Fall had started. The owners of the farm already told me they were not sure I was going to see a lot of tomatoes. I also met a few Nigerians here who told me that I should have come earlier in the season when everywhere was like filled with tomatoes. I picked 3 bushels and this was what they looked like. We felt very disappointed to have come at this time because we already saw that some of the tomatoes were fallen and we actually wanted to pluck right from the tree, let's say that. So my husband and I decided to part ways. Like, he started from the front while I started from the back, and lo and behold, he told me, babe, come over to this side. The farm was a very big farm, and so I had already started picking, and because it is a big farm, some people who came, I think, started from the beginning. So if you come from the beginning, you start from the beginning. If you come from the side, you start from the side. But we went right into the middle and we saw big juicy tomatoes. All of these tomatoes, I plucked them from their stalk and they were really good. Initially, the plan was to take turns in picking and plucking the tomatoes while the other person stays with the baby in the car. But this girl doesn't like staying in the car. She just wanted to get her hand dirty, and we're like, girl, you need to come and pick tomatoes. Initially, we didn't want to let her come up because it was drizzling, and then we decided to allow her, and this was her with her drizzled hair picking tomatoes. She was picking both the good ones and the bad ones. Please, who dresses up nicely like this to come pick tomatoes in the farm? Only my baby, only Zuru. Anyway, since we had an extra hand, we just couldn't complain. After some time, we were already topping the chart for the tomatoes. The bigger one was my own picking, which is this one. The smaller one was for my husband. To be honest, picking these tomatoes was no child's joke. Considering that you have to bend to pick the tomatoes, moving from place to place and carrying the baskets alone. But we had already prepared our mind for it. This was my first time ever seeing a tomato farm, and you can't blame me for my excitement. So I kept on picking and plucking and picking. The fact that I had to choose, when I touch the tomato and I see that this one is soft, I'm not going to pluck it. And then when I touch another one and it's strong enough, I'm just going to pluck it. Some were bad, which were already on the floor, which I did not pick, while I plucked directly from the stalk. At some point, I was tired of carrying the basket around, so what I did was pluck some tomatoes, keep them on one side, and then when I get like a large number of tomatoes, like you can see like this, I will now take them to the basket. I like the fact that I was able to save on these tomatoes because tomatoes is one fresh produce I use almost all the time. After plucking the tomato, we're able to fill up 2 bushels and a half, and this half one I gave it to my neighbor while the other one I stored it, and then we headed to the shepherd peppers. The weeds in the farm had already started covering the shepherd pepper, so I didn't have enough time to pluck, so I just plucked the green ones. After I made some consultation, I was told if you pluck the green one, when you keep them somewhere where there's like air, it's going to get right. These were what my legs looked like by the time I came back from the farm, very dirty, soaked in water, like it was so messy. I think I forgot to mention that the only mode of payment for this farm is cash, so we went with cash. I got like 3 bags of tomato and this small pepper that was about $4. The mistake we made was that we were so exhausted that day that we just packed everything. Like when we came back, we just left everything in the car and we rested. And you know how tomatoes are, they're so fragile, and then they started dripping some water. So overall, we bought this pepper for $4. We bought a full basket of the unripe shombo plus semi-ripe for $8, and we decided to pour it into this diapers carton for air. We paid $1 for the half bag of tomato that you can see here, and the reason why we took half was because we're already tired of plucking and we've had enough. We were also charged $8 each for the big, like the full bushel of the tomatoes, which made the 2 big bags. Everything I spent was about $21 or so. Now the ones my husband picked were bigger and so juicy, while I was picking like the tiny ones. I don't know why I was there, but there was a difference. The bottom line is they are all tomatoes, and so it was time to do the hardest thing, which was cleaning and storing them. I added some water in a bowl, and then I added a large quantity of vinegar to take out the dirt, the sand, the germs, or whatever there might be on the produce. You see, vinegar and baking soda, those two are like a very good cleaning agent for the house, for the toilets, fruits or whatever you want to wash. Can you see how beautiful these peppers look? I mean, they look so harmless, but they are very spicy. I used just one to cook a pot of soup. The fresh peppers here are really spicy. Now thinking about it, watching me wash this thing, I'm like, who gave me the liver to wash peppers with my bare hands? But I survived. Look at all the sand and dirt we took out from the pepper that were picked by the farmers that looked so clean, not to talk about the tomatoes. After washing the peppers, the next thing I did was transfer them into a sieve to drain all the liquid. Because it will be frozen, in order for me not to stress myself when I want to use it, I decided to pluck out the stems as well. After everything, I transferred it into the Ziploc bag and sealed it. After packing it into a Ziploc bag, I decided to become a vacuum sealer since I don't have one. I decided to press out the excessive air in order to conserve space and also to preserve the life of the peppers. I repeated the same step for the tomatoes. I added water in a bowl, added vinegar, and then I washed. This tomato was much. My sink was not big, so I think it took me like some hours to get this totally cleaned up. You already know that you cannot wash frozen tomatoes, so I had to be very careful in the washing and selecting process. This was what the first water from the tomatoes looked like, very dirty, so I had to wash them over and over again, and then later I put them in a sieve to drain the water. After washing the tomato, I did the same thing I did to the pepper. I added them to a Ziploc bag, zipped it up, but I first of all compressed some air, took out the excessive air before I locked it. After 777 years of washing this tomato in one day, we're able to get like 5 bags of tomato and 1 bag of pepper. It's December now, and I can tell you that we've not used up to 10 pieces of this pepper or even half of the tomato. I initially bought some shepherd peppers, which are like the shumbo, and I had like 5 bags of it in my freezer as well. The only thing I know I did not wash were the green peppers, which is supposed to turn into red. So I kept them in my balcony since I didn't have a garage, and I kept checking them from week to week. I was expecting that they would turn red all at once, but they did not. They just kept turning red one after the other in small groups and all of that, and I kept using them right from the bowl. After 3 weeks, some started getting bad while others were still thriving, and this was what they looked like. So I made it a point of duty to always check on it every Saturday, and I took out the bad ones and took the ripe ones inside. In order for me not to wait for too long, I decided to make ofada sauce. Is it ayamashe abi ofada sauce? So I added it to the green bell peppers that I bought, and I made this delicious ayamashe sauce that my daughter did not like. I don't know if it was the roux, because how can I have a roux for more than a year and I've not used it? But me, I liked it. My husband liked it. It was her first time trying it, and she kept acting like she wanted to throw up. It's the month of December, and we're still waiting for our green peppers to ripen. And then, due to winter prep, I finally found the goat meat slaughterhouse where I bought a full goat meat. In fact, that's the story for another day. If you've watched this video up to this point and you've not subscribed, you have mine though. Please hit that subscribe button now. Overall, considering the time I went to the farm, which was in September, most of the sales in the stores has stopped. I would say that I got real value for my money in the farm, and if you're looking at buying tomatoes in bulk, I would advise you go to the farm. But if you do not have farms around you, please jejely buy from the stores ending August into September. If you have any questions about the farm, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. I am going to answer you. I hope this video was helpful to help you plan for your next winter next year. Subscribe.